Okay, today I want to talk about this new kind of identification. Do you remember when Tyla, this new South African musician, when she identified herself as colored, she said she is not black, but she is colored. But one thing that you have to understand, colored people are not African. If you understand, colored people are just people of different identity who don't identify themselves as African people. You have to understand there is some type of maybe there is some type of identities in South Africa, and all these identities don't identify themselves as Africans because they want to identify themselves as coming from another place. And one thing that you have to understand, as an African, you cannot be African unless you are black. That is what identifies you as an African. A black person is an African no matter where they live, where they were born, no matter where they come from. You are black unless you are African. And Tyla has been able to identify herself as colored because she wants to differentiate herself from black people of South Africa. Because in South Africa, the closer you are from whiteness, the better you think you are. And this is what I'm telling you. Colored people are not actually South African. Do you understand? They can be from another place, but they are not actually African, because for you in actually to be South African, you need to be African. That is your first identity. To be African, you have to be black, and to be black, you have to be African. You cannot identify yourself as South African if you are not black. And if you are colored, you come from another place. And this is what Tyla means when she identifies herself as colored and not black. This is the genealogy of Tyla. So her grandfather come from India. So he came from India back in the 50s, and then he settled to South Africa just like everybody else. And there he met this Zulu woman who are actually black. You remember, Zulu people are actually the true South Africans. And when Tyla's grandfather married Tyla's grandmother, who is a Zulu, they had a son, and that was Tyla's father. And Tyla's father is a mix. And if you know, many mixed people call themselves colored. Why? Because they think they are closer to whiteness. And then Tyla's father married this woman here. She's called Laura, and she her father is an Irishman who married a woman from Mauritania, and she is a mix too. Tyla's mother, she's a mix, and like you can see, an Irish mix. And they had Tyla, who actually you can see she is a mix too. But many people will think Tyla is a mix of any kind of African descendant. No, she's a mix of Indian descent. You have to understand, she have no ancestry in Africa. She has no African ancestry. That is what you have to understand. That Tyla, she's not really black as African black. She is black from India. Her blackness comes from India and not in Africa. If she say she's colored, it's because she want to stay close to whiteness. And that is why you have to understand many South Africans want to stay close to whiteness, because they want that privilege of not being called black, because they think because you black, you are not privileged. But remember, because you are black, you are African. Because that is what make you African. Because you are black. Because you are colored, that means you don't want to be African. Because you cannot be only, you can be only African if you are black. And because you are not black, you are not African. You have to understand this is what many colored so-called South African means. Again, we will be back.
If you love this topic, like and comment below.